Good morning. Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. Delighted to have you with us on this beautiful Monday morning, and we're very pleased to have in studio. We have a historic show this morning. Not all our shows are historic, but this one certainly is. We have Chaplain Keith Jiles of the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, who's also, by the way, pastor at Word of Life Church in Carrollton. And the special guest star is therapy dog Bonnie. So good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for bringing Bonnie with us. Bonnie looks very excited. She gets a coffee mug, and that's
waiting
it.
for food.
Yeah. Tell us, I've introduced you, so I'm going to let you introduce our very special guest.
Sure. This is Bonnie, and actually Bonnie May, and but she goes by Bonnie, and she is a therapy dog. She is part of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and to be used in peer support and throughout the community. She goes into nursing homes. She can go into the hospitals, different places, and so she is, here to be a therapy dog.
You said peer support. What
Right.
does that mean?
Going into peer support when there's problems going on and with inside the department, any kind of tragic crisis situation, Bonnie shows up on the scene and just as a calming support, and she's there for therapy, just like her title. In any kind of crisis situation, she's there to bring that support.
She's already giving me two looks.
Yeah.
Right?
She
like,
may think you are in crisis.
Yeah, I'm always in crisis. Anyway, okay. This is a first for the Sheriff's Department, is it not? Or have we done this before?
It is. We haven't had a therapy dog in this nature, no. And we've got a couple throughout the state of Georgia in the Georgia Sheriff's Association's Chaplains program, which I'm part of. And a lot of people don't know, but the Georgia Sheriff's Association has a chaplains division, and they're desirous for every sheriff in the state to have a chaplains program and a law enforcement chaplains program. And within that group, the GSA chaplains group, we have a peer support team. So any kind of tragedy or whatever that happens within the agencies throughout the state,
she winked at me. Okay,
we show up to bring support to the offices, the sheriff's offices there, and so Bonnie is a help in doing that.
So not every sheriff's department in the state has a chaplain's office?
There's some that still don't.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of surprising.
Yep.
You would think everybody would. Give us. I certainly want to dig into this pretty deeply. Well, before I ask that question, tell us. There's you mentioned before the program started, there are kind of like three levels of support animals or dogs.
Right. There's which I didn't know this until I started training with Bonnie, but of course there's four. You have your pets, your ordinary house pet, and then you have the personal support dogs, or personal people have their personal support dogs that they have, and then there's therapy dogs, and then of course there's service dogs. And the actual service dog has all access, and he actually performs a service for an individual. Therapy dogs like Molly, they're there for everybody's purpose and everybody's therapy. So she's there for whoever may be in crisis. So
you said that several times, but is it just it's the calming effect of having a dog come up to you when maybe you've lost a loved one or you've been in a tragic, horrific accident or something? Or tell us a little more precisely how.
That's correct. That's how that works. And just the idea of Bonnie, back last year when we had a tragedy within the Sheriff's Department. And
that was, last time you were here was August, and that was Bristow, right?
Bristow, yes, that's exactly right.
And this was the inspiration for Bonnie.
This was the inspiration to that. We were in Atlanta, and there were a lot of the officers from the Sheriff's Office up there. And someone had a therapy dog in the building, and I observed how she was operating and working throughout the crowd that was there, and how she was relating to the people and how the people were relating to her. And it was like, man, this is really what we need in a time of crisis. And so that's when we started looking and seeing what it would take to have one of these dogs.
For those who don't know, kind of recap briefly, if you would, the killing of Sergeant, I think it was Sergeant Bristow.
Bristow, yeah, he lost his life last year in August, as you stated, in a tragic incident that happened in a call that he was on, and several days later he passed away, and it was just a tragic situation for all that was involved. And so, that's what inspired us to do or bring Bonnie on board at the sheriff's office.
They say, now that I'm getting older, they say as you get older, you need to have a dog, and if you have a dog, you live longer. So I don't have a dog, and but tell us how people respond to Bonnie.
She everyone loves her when you get around her. Now, not all people like dogs, and you can tell that when they come around. But she does really well at the memory care places and nursing homes and stuff like that. Bonnie, sit.
You got to stay on camera, Bonnie. This is.
And so she does well there, and of course everybody that gets around her loves her, and she's just an inspiration. So she brings that calming effect.
Okay, well let's take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk the way that this came about, the way we found, the way that she was rescued. I mean, it's an incredible story. Okay. So that's my tease, and we're going to be back with more with Chaplain Keith Jiles and Therapy Dog Bonnie after these words.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Granick, your host. We've got Keith Jiles, Chaplain of the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, and we've got superstar therapy dog Bonnie is in the left chair facing me. And it's just never done this before, but I think we ought to do it more often. I think one thing to put all this in perspective, because there's a lot more we want to talk about, and how old is, I know I'm not supposed to ask, but how old is Bonnie?
Bonnie turned a year old in January. Her birthday's actually.
So she's very young.
January 13th. Yes, she is.
Okay, tell us, Bonnie's got a sister named Mavis.
Bonnie has a sister named Mavis.
Tell us, tell how we found Bonnie and Mavis. I'm boring her. I'm sorry. Tell us how Bonnie and Mavis were found. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, we'll just go back, and as we already said, Bristow is what spurred this whole thing and the thought of this process, and so I began the process of trying to find out how we could get a therapy dog or have a therapy dog at the sheriff's office here in Carroll County. And looked in several places, and then I remembered back several years ago there was a sheriff that came and spoke at one of the chaplain's programs, the sheriff of Forsyth County, and he told me about a program he has, which is Pups with a Purpose, or Pups for a Purpose. And so I contacted them, and they said, you're not going to believe it. You need to come up. We've got 2 dogs right now that have been rescued, and they're in a training program, and love for you to come see them and see if one of them might be a fit. We think they're going to be good dogs for therapy. And so that's when I went up and met Bonnie and Mavis, and they were both in this program. It's a very unique program, and it's where they take inmates that are in a 12-month program, and they use these inmates to train rescue dogs. And some of the dogs turn out to be therapy dogs, some turn out to be service dogs, and then others are just great pets for people. So the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office does a fantastic job with this program. And so I got up and met Bonnie and met Mavis, and of course I chose Bonnie, and she's the one that stood out to me. But their story, it's pretty amazing. Back when she was probably 4 months old or so, she and her sister were wandering down the streets, Highway 16, I believe it was, and there were some college students heading home to North Georgia, and they spotted the two dogs running down the side of the road, and so they stopped and picked them up. And Bonnie and Mavis both were in terrible condition, and they brought them home and nursed them, got them healthy enough to try to find a permanent home. And their father actually happens to be a congressman or senator in the state of Georgia.
State Senator Steve Gooch.
Gooch, yep. And one of them was his child, and so they contacted the sheriff's office in Forsyth County, and they turned the dogs over there after they were rescued, and they put them in the program. And then we met them and chose Bonnie, and started going through training back in, I guess it was, August of this past year. And so she went
Bonnie hadn't been on the job all that long.
No, she hasn't. Actually, she came home with me in November and started what they call the working training, or daily training in everyday life. And then she just really started going places maybe a month ago.
And she's got her AKC Canine Good Citizen certificate.
She's
what in the world
certified.
Is that?
She has to be able to do what she's doing now.
Oh, okay.
Without barking or causing a scene or going after other dogs.
She has to be a calming influence.
Yes, and she's very calming, and she's really good with other dogs, or around other dogs and people.
So I would assume that she works mostly with victims, somebody that or family members of victims.
As a therapy dog, yes, someone going through crisis. But she not only does crisis, but I mean, like I said earlier, when you get into the nursing homes or especially the memory care, and my mom was actually in memory care, so I've taken her there quite a few times, and it's pretty amazing to watch those as they.
Yeah, when my father was alive, he was in assisted living. We took his dog over there multiple times.
Right, and she's really good with kids. I mean, she can do the schools. She can do pretty much anywhere that she's needed for those things. And Bonnie's got tricks, and but her biggest thing is just her calming effect and to pet her. She likes to lick a lot, but that's why
She gives me this look like I'm so
she's worried about you.
That's what a lot of people are. Anyway, okay. I don't know what else. That's funny. Does anything ever threaten her, or what does anything get her agitated or angry?
No, I've only heard Bonnie bark a few times, and it's just at home if something's unknown to her or coming up, into the house, she'll bark.
Technically, she's mixed, right? She's lab.
She's a mixed lab. Yeah.
So okay, and they just found her on the side of the road. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, she went from rescue to therapy.
And if they hadn't picked her up, there was 4 to 6 months old, she probably would have passed on.
Either hit with a car or something.
What a story.
Now, Bonnie came to Carroll County, and Mavis, of course, went to North Georgia to the campus police up there. So she's working with the North Georgia College campus police.
Really?
On campus.
Yeah.
So Bonnie's going to turn her back on us.
Yeah, well, let's say that's not the first. So she's with the campus police at North Georgia College.
That's right.
Okay. Which one has the better pay structure? Do you know?
I think they pay the same.
They pay the same. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And just to give a shout out to Rucker Dog Training up in Forsyth County. They're the main trainers of these dogs, and they're the ones that partnered with Forsyth County Sheriff's Office and made all this possible. And Scott Rucker is just an awesome trainer, and has been instrumental in getting Bonnie here to Carroll County.
You mentioned earlier that inmates participate in training animals. Yes. How does that work?
The program up there, this is a 12-month program. It's usually for people that are in for like addiction problems and so forth, and so they can volunteer for this program. And Bonnie has disappeared on us.
That's okay.
They volunteer for this program, and but they have to stay 12 months, and they live with the dogs. They stay in the same facilities with them, and just do an awesome job training them. And they're there with them, day and night. And so
Well, how has this changed your life? I mean, you haven't had a dog until now in terms of a therapy dog. I mean, this is
Me personally, I had a lab for about 16 years. Her name
Okay.
was Molly, and Molly passed away, and so I personally didn't have a dog, but my wife's always had dogs.
But now, as you minister to different people in different situations, has it made it easier, more difficult, or how has it changed it?
Well, she is Bonnie is a blessing, of course, and opens doors to to people's hearts and getting
Do
around
the people
to people.
ignore you now and just focus on Bonnie?
Well, that's okay. I'm ignored most of the time anyway. But Bonnie has definitely opens up doors for for ministry.
So in
and
some
stuff.
ways, it's made it easier.
Right. And Bonnie's also part of, I know I mentioned offline, she's part of Canines for Christ, which is a Texas-based program for therapy dogs. And so they have other issues and things that come up that they'll use her for going in the future as well.
You know, there's nothing. I can't imagine what you've seen over the years. Different horrific, violent criminal acts and deaths and all kinds of things. And the few times I was in those situations as a reporter, I mean, it's just horrible.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like a toddler that's been accidentally run over in the driveway, or murder, suicide, or whatever. How do you cope with that, and how do you bring Bonnie into that mix?
Well, it would have been great to have Bonnie back in some of those things that you've mentioned in this situation, because that's what she does. And it's kind of like a chaplain's program. What a chaplain does, people wonder. It's really a ministry of presence, a lot of times, because there's nothing you can say in those situations that's going to change anything. So just the ministry of presence and being there.
No, I think that's true.
Knowing that there's a calming effect there just from the presence. And that's the same thing Bonnie does as a therapy dog. And you mentioned situations with toddlers and, even in domestic situations when there's kids involved. If you can bring Bonnie on the scene and she can play with the kids while all this other stuff's going on, it just brings a calming effect. And so as a therapy animal or therapy dog, that's what she's there for, to be that presence, just to bring a calming that, for instance, I saw a young man during a situation that normally he would have been hard and, just try to hold all of his feelings in, and then a therapy dog came up and noticed there was something wrong, came up and started muzzling him and with his nose, and he just broke down and started hugging the dog and let all those emotions go. And
Because without a chaplain or without a therapy dog, it's really up to, in the case of the sheriff's department, up to the deputies to try to bring some sort of calm to the situation.
Right.
But yeah, they're doing an investigation at the same time.
Right.
So that's nearly impossible, I would think.
It is, and that's the whole purpose for a chaplain's program, and is to be that calming in that, because they have a job to do and they can't stop and console or do those things. So the chaplain can be there as a liaison to be there with the family, but also gather information and keep the family posted.
That helps the investigation.
Yes,
because people are calm and they're willing to share. They're not hysterical, I suppose.
that's right.
So, all right. Well, we've got a historic program going on. We've got Chaplain Keith Jiles in the studio, and Bonnie has gone off camera shy, and we'll see if she'll return to camera. After these words, we'll be right back.
The Entrepreneur Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in business and leadership. Critical areas include identifying entrepreneurial characteristics, selecting a value position, and business model development. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. We're on Facebook Live. We got a shout out to Martha Murphy Long for watching, and we have a post from our good friend who's the morning show host at KISS 102.7. She says, "Can we get a therapy dog for the radio stations?" And we have this other lady who says, "I second Jessica Kay's suggestion on the station getting a therapy dog." So anyway, we'll take that under advisement. Well, Bonnie's back on camera. She took a little hiatus there, so we welcome her back. And she's not saying much, but that's okay. I'm not going to push that. Tell us, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department is rather huge, large,
Yes.
big, enormous, et cetera, et cetera. How's Bonnie fitting in with everybody else? I mean, it's, I guess she's kind of like a mascot and been adopted in a lot of ways.
Well, for the most part, yeah. And like I said, she's just now getting around, so not everybody's actually even seen Bonnie yet.
Oh, good.
So,
Well, we'll get to introduce Bonnie
so,
to everybody.
This is kind of new, and so we're excited to see how she's going to be accepted and how she's going to be used throughout the county.
She seems to be low maintenance. I assume you feed her 2 or 3 times a day or something?
She is. That's kind of unique too. People don't really understand, but during this training program, and it's a unique training program. But Bonnie, as someone's already mentioned here, she's very loyal. But Bonnie is fed twice a day by hand.
Yeah.
Bonnie doesn't eat out of a bowl, and she doesn't
why's
even know
that?
what a bowl is. Just for the bond.
The bonding
during
of
the
it?
training.
Really?
And, so,
I've never heard anybody doing that.
So I feed her every morning and every afternoon by hand.
You feed her like the super high protein kind of, gourmet stuff?
It comes from the Rutgers dog training program up there. That's where I get my food from. So,
Really?
So I drive up to Forsyth to get food about every quarter.
But for the most part, she's real healthy, right?
Oh yeah, she's extremely healthy. She has to, maintain and get all of her shots all the time and make visits to the vet. So, but she is. And when she gets home, she's just a dog, and she thinks she's a lap dog.
Does she?
And,
I guess she lives with you, right?
Yes, she lives with me full time.
Does she play with the neighboring dogs, or?
No, she don't run loose or anything like that. And she's. Like I said, she's very loyal and she stays right, by your side. But when she's home, she, my wife tries to steal her, and so she'll sit with my wife.
Does she know we're talking about her?
I think she does, but she's really waiting for this toy or waiting for this food.
I don't think she really is really enamored with either one of
See, if
us.
I could let you have the toy. She's
she's all about it. She's got these great eyes. I mean, the eyes are really what get you. I mean, it's just, look at that. It's just, they're very sympathetic and endearing and all of that. Now, so she exercises basically when she's at home.
Yeah, and even her feeding is a process of training and exercise. So when we're feeding, we're going through sit and stay. And
well, now you had to be trained somewhat too.
I actually did.
How did that go?
So I had to pass all these tests, the test as well as taking her through the Good Citizens program and all that. And I had to drive twice a week up to Forsyth County.
Boring her to no end.
Forsyth County for several months, and but it was worth it in the end. Bonnie's a great dog.
But she doesn't bark.
Unless something really going on, she would not bark.
No, she won't bark. So I can't do like bark once or bark twice.
She may, if you stare at her, she will bark. She don't like for you to stare in the eyes.
I ain't staring at her. Okay. Well, I won't get her opinion on anything then if she doesn't want to give it. Where does? I mean, she's very young. I got the look. She's very young. So what do you envision? Many years of being a therapy dog?
Yes, from what I've been told, therapy dogs work for several years, 5, 6, 10 years, and but they can grow weary in doing that too. Now she knows if I take this vest off, she knows there's a difference.
Oh, really?
Because she knows she run around and play a little bit, but she knows she's working right now. And,
she's off duty. How many hours a day does she on duty?
I own Hearn Monument too. I throw a plug in there, Hearn Monument as well. So she stays around there most of the time as well. And we have people that come in there that are going through situations.
But she's on call 24/7 like
yes.
you are.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
24/7. And but if she's not expected to be, like she is now, then I'll take the vest off and she can lounge around and do what she wants to do.
Do you think she'll ever become? I know they did a story's been done, and I think the sheriff's department did a Facebook post on her and that kind of thing. Do you think she'll ever become kind of a celeb?
I think that's her desire is to
You
be a
think so?
celebrity. Yeah.
She's already tasted the fame and fortune.
limelight,
Yeah. Well, she's a beautiful, beautiful dog. Very, very beautiful. Now she's part lab, so when you go by a lake, does she like go on point and go water?
I have taken her to the lake, and she loves the water. She dove right off into the water.
Really?
And, so
That's
got
cool.
right into it. So.
That's cool. What besides lab, we don't really know what else is.
Not really. Don't know what the other is, but she's small compared to most labs. The head and all looks really labby in her feet, but she's kind of a smaller lab.
Do you think you may expand this and get her a partner? I mean, every deputy's got to have a partner, right?
Yeah,
Or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll just see how this goes, and where it leads from here. But she's available to the community as well.
But now y'all have got 2 or 3 chaplains on staff, right?
As of right now, we've got a new chaplain we're bringing on, and then we have a jail chaplain as well, Chaplain Brooks, and that's really all we have. So, but Bonnie's there for the office, the sheriff's office, as well as the community, and so whatever beckons or calls her, she's there to go.
I assume some investigations last several days.
Oh, sure, months.
But yeah, and so if you take Bonnie by when it's being dragged out,
She could be used for any of that. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean that's got to be very helpful. The questioning continues for several days after you lost a loved one, and then here comes Bonnie and just kind of helps.
And the thing about Bonnie is I could give her to you, and you could take her, and she's going to listen to you and do what you tell her to do. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So if you've got whatever, you're out for a couple of days, she's still available.
Just feed her a couple of times.
Yeah, that's all. All right. Well, anything else you want to say? If somebody has a request for Bonnie or a suggestion, they should just contact you.
What? Now you're going to talk. But yes, they can contact us. You can contact the sheriff's department and make a request for Bonnie. You can contact me as well, and we're on Facebook, or you can get in touch with me through the sheriff's office as well.
Does she get to visit her sister very often?
No, they've only seen each other a couple of times when graduation took place for the inmates. The inmates graduated from the program. She got to go back and see Mavis.
Yeah, Mavis elicited a response from her.
What?
She probably misses Mavis. That's what I would say. All right. Well, thank you, Keith, for bringing her in. Congratulations on this program. This is pretty awesome situation. I know, particularly with elderly people and those who have experienced a horrible, situation in their own lives from some sort of crime or whatever. This can mean night and day.
Yep.
So, all right. Thank you for listening, and join us again for the Community Voice here on WLBB Carrollton.